Greetings, sis.
Greetings, sis. We are back. We are back. Streaming on all platforms. It is the beginning of the new Gregorian calendar new year. As
Yes,
we
yes,
all know,
yes, yes.
2025 has come in, sis. How are you?
I am doing amazing. We are so happy to be back in the space for this new, improved year of expansion and growth. I am your self care holistic coach, Chantel Sierta Shakim, and I am here with my beautiful sister, Lady Unk, your spiritual guide. We are here to tap in. We know that as we've come into this new Gregorian calendar year, we have really seen a lot of things begin to shift. And with that, these shifts are really opening up opportunities for us to really begin to create things in a different way. Um, we're this segment is going to talk about just really how we're showing up and how we are doing, because there's a lot of energy right now that could be causing a lot of chaos and confusion and just drama and struggle and strife. But this is definitely an opportunity to begin to plant and create differently on fertile ground. What would you have to say?
Absolutely. As we have seen, 2024 was the setup, I would say, for the come up, and
Ashe.
2025 is the come up. Last year, we saw a lot of the veil being lifted from our eyes from various things, as far as our politics, the communities across the world, and how gentrification is affecting multiple areas across the U.S. We saw politics and some of the veil lifted behind the hidden agendas behind politics. We saw so much uncovered within the entertainment industry, and human rights activists have been shedding light on a lot of humanitarian issues that have been going on across the globe. So we've seen all of that in 2024. 2025 got off to a hot start, to say the least. Before we really get into the meat and butter of today's conversation, we want to sincerely express our love, gratitude. We send healing energy to all of those affected in the California wildfires and beyond. We know that much of our nation is facing tremendously drastic weather phenomena across the U.S. This isn't just happening in California. However, on January 7th, California broke out in wildfires across a large percentage of Los Angeles County. A complete city was wiped out. Palisades City, as well as Pasadena and Altadena, parts of Pasadena and much of Altadena was also wiped out. And so we want to just send our love and our healing energy to those families that are affected either directly or indirectly from the California wildfires. Would you like to add anything, sister?
Well, yes, I definitely know that you are right there in the midst of it, being in LA. And you mentioned about just the different weather patterns that are taking place. Mother Nature is definitely rebuilding and reestablishing. Over here, where I am in um, Atlanta, the Atlanta area, we had an ice storm. So I found that very interesting how we have fire and water or fire and ice, in these extremes all going on at the same time. I also am being um, beckoned to pay attention to the spiritual meanings behind this. I know, a lot of people are speaking on it in both capacities of what's really going on in our society, in our world, and in the consciousness of humanity, right? And how the earth is beginning to show us really, in fact, what's going on. And I see that as a great opportunity for us to begin to look into the symbolisms, to look into what we see on the outward side in our world, and then see how that's really truly reflecting our inner world and our inner minds of what we're doing with this energy as it's being presented. So you did talk about total destruction, right? And how people have come into a space of really losing everything.
Mhm.
And in that space, we can see that as devastation, but also we can see that as a great opportunity to begin to rebuild. So in this time, I want to encourage those that are there to really begin to see that rebuilding opportunity as a space of endless possibilities of greatness. After every storm there's a rainbow, and after every devastation there's an opportunity to replant and to begin in our conscious mind. The society and the television telling lies to our vision is really putting people in a very low vibrational state, with fear and confusion and just distress and just not knowing what to do. This podcast today, we want to begin to look at it from a perspective of what is it that we can do in this time when we are challenged by earthly disasters, or when we're challenged by things that don't align to the truth of us or the truth of what we wish to experience. How do you navigate those types of experiences and still maintain your sovereignty or your mindset of all is well? What would you say in that area?
Ooh, I mean, you dropped it right in my lap, and I'm going to pick up with that question that you just posed. How do you navigate? So, finding myself in this side of consciousness where I am living a very intentional life, I'm being, conscious of my words, my thoughts, my actions, my feelings, because I know that those are the things that create the world and the life that I experience. And so, when the fires broke out, I'll run you all through I am here in Los Angeles County. I am one of the red flagged areas. The fire that broke out was approximately about 13 miles from my home. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not very far. It's burned. The last time I checked the numbers, it had already burned what would be the equivalent to 30 square miles. So it's going in the opposite direction of my home, but this could have very well have come in my direction if the winds were blowing just any
The
other
opposite
direction.
direction, right?
Exactly. So with that being said, when I first initially found out about the fires, I'm a California resident, so we hear about our wildfires. It's not uncommon for us to have wildfires. They usually happen in more destitute areas, or they happen and they're pretty well controlled. Now, when this fire broke out, I didn't initially really pay much attention to it until it started. It just rapidly took over and started going into the homes. And that's when I really started to pay close attention to what was going on with the fire, because at that point, ash and everything was all covering my car, and I'm a good distance from it. So I know this is really bad. Something is really going on. And like many people, when something devastating has happened, we turn to our spiritual house, right? We turn to our faith system. And coming in my conscious mind, I use a lot of different spiritual religious texts from different spiritual houses. And so the very first thing I did was what this whole entire show is about today is I got to my Bible, because even in my conscious mind, I know that there is a lot of great benefits to that text. And so I went into my Bible, I went into some of my other tools, and I was directed towards a scripture in Psalms 104, verse 4, which says, He makes the winds his messengers, and the flames of fire his servants. And so in this particular, when you read it in entirety, it's really talking about fire's ability to bring humanity back to the divine, to reintroduce them to the divine, the creator, the creatress, whomever you see that as. And so as I was sitting with this, the downloads were super coming through. And it was interesting because I reached out to my sister and we chatted and we went deeper into the study. And she shared some additional things. But the initial thing that I wanted to point out is that the fire is representation in most spiritual texts. You can look in the Kabbalah, I've looked in the Torah, I've looked in several different texts throughout religious houses, and fire is seen as a way of back to the divine and the divine consciousness. Okay. And so when we talk about the divine, there's many interpretations of what that could be. But let's get into that, sis. Let's get into this sign, this symbol that the universe has sent us with this fire, because you even broaden my perspective and rising in regards to that.
So I know we went in on it and spirit came through. So one of the biggest takeaways that I began to resonate with was the fire representing the archangel Michael, and how he is a messenger that brings awareness back to the divine. And when we think about the divine, we think about the feminine energy, the creative ability to begin to create and birth new possibilities. And you made a mention of our conscious mind. So we often are really living our lives from our subconscious knowing. We are aware to a degree of what our subconscious has already been programmed. So it's easy for us to begin to shrink back into those ways of showing up or reacting as opposed to responding. That's bringing it back to our consciousness. So when we begin to respond as opposed to react, we can slow the progression of that subconscious reaction. So even in that, I look at the wind and how the wind is very free and it goes where it wants to go, right? And even with the fire, it was bringing that flame, that what some would call destruction, wherever the wind sent it, right? So in the same way, in our bodies, we have to begin to be aware of those energies that are working through us. Even as the fire's flame, there's a fire within us, right? And that fire is what fuels our experiences. So when we think about how the messenger of Michael is sending us back to the divine, we have a choice in that matter of how we can see how this can be a benefit as opposed to a detriment to us, to our families, to our experiences, to our jobs. Yes, in fact, in the reality, things are going to change. There are shifts happening. I don't know how much of a conspiracy theory this world really is, but I was coming across different things and different people posting about this fire, right? And some of them were saying, I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't see a fire anywhere. I'm here in Los Angeles and, I'm not experiencing any of that. So I began to think about the separation, right? As the Bible talked about, many will be caught up and some will be in the flames. And even if that was just for propaganda, for show, and for people to bring this understanding into our reality, it is the same. I know they talked about it being like apocalyptic, right? And we know what those who are Christian, or I don't know if similar stories are in the Torah or in the Quran, but that there is a revelation at the end, which is a dream of division and destruction. But also it talks about some people not even being affected by it. So this is the space that we begin to create, that the new experience, you know, the division between our 3D reality and this 5D experience, and knowing that these things can be going on side by side simultaneously, but it is where you find yourself within your consciousness, within what are you creating, what are you truly creating out of this, because it can be the depths of hell or the heights of heaven. And heaven is the conscious awareness of creating in alignment with God's good, because good is all there is. Even in the midst of chaos, destruction, we have to be rooted and grounded in the truth that all is well. And then begin to release our energy into the space of, what am I creating? Okay, yes, things are being toppled down, things are being destroyed. But from this space, what am I being able to create? Because this is the time to really begin to hone in on what you are creating, you know, not entertaining anything that doesn't support that which you choose to experience, because we are the creators of our own experiences, whether we say we are the God consciousness creating new realities day by day, minute by minute, second by second, or if we truly believe that things are divinely aligned and we just have to click onto the channel of what we want to experience. However it resonates as truth to you is where you need to start.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, you mentioned a couple things that I want to tap on when we talk about the conspiracy theories. This phase that we are stepping into, the many of you have heard the African proverb, as above, so below. And it basically says what's going on in the atmosphere, okay, what's going on above us is going on right here on earth. And so within, so without. Many things are happening right now. We have just reached, and actually on the 7th, we had 3 planets that went into conjunction. We have a major conjunction of all 7 of the planets in our atmosphere will be into alignment by the end of February. So what's happening is all of the planets are coming into alignment, and we are seeing that and how that energetic shift is affecting our atmospheric pressure right now. Now, I'm getting a little techie on y'all, but I need y'all to catch up to speed, and I want you to digest everything we're giving you so you can understand. The divine is calling us to start paying attention to the divine, start looking at nature, the patterns of nature, and the things that the Most High utilizes, which is each and everything, everyone around us is being used at this point. Talk about those conspiracy theories that think that these fires were started. I would say to that, it was divinely orchestrated. Okay, this was a divine orchestration. This was not something that one individual did or even a select group of individuals. This is a divine orchestration. The timing, the different things that had been happening with the city's water management, the climate. This is divine orchestration. When we talk about something divinely being orchestrated, this is a message for us to be in alignment. And this is a time of letting go of the things that are no longer serving you, the old habits, the old ways, the things that you know you've been needing to let go of, but haven't been able to. You need to let go of this. This is closing out. So I know many of you who follow us may have heard somewhere on your timeline, people have said this is a 9-year. What does the 9-year mean, right? Well, in numerology, there's a numerical breakdown that I'm not going to go into, but 20.
Do your research, study to show yourself approved.
Yeah, do your research on that. But this is considered a 9-year. What is a 9-year? A 9-year is the year of change, rapid transformation. Okay, so this is a closing out of a cycle, so that we can begin a new cycle. And within that 9 year, we have this planetary conjunction. So we cannot ignore that. With all these planets being in alignment, that's meaning not only is this closing a chapter, but it's actually aligning you to what the next 9 year cycle is going to look like. And so, with that being said, we have to start to focus as a whole, all together, on that which we desire to see in our world, that which we desire to see in our lives and in our communities and in our families, in our homes. We have to start focusing on that, and we have to move away from the stress, chaotic, fear-mongering thought pattern that we have been stuck in for, I would say, about the last 5 years since COVID. We have been stuck in a perpetual cycle of chaos, which is why there's been a lot of chaos and destruction. Now, the Most High, as I see it, is calling us to focus back on our inner divinity, understanding that we are not separated from the divine. We are the divine. We are each the divine, carrying a piece of the puzzle. And so if we all work on self, that's what we all are here for, right? We work on self, we stay tapped in, tuned in to what our thoughts, our feelings, our words are putting into the environment, we can really make rapid changes to seeing something new. We know a new world is being created. Why should we be fearful when we are the ones with the power?
Ashe, sis, you made me think immediately about the new world being created, and I know Hollywood was really impacted, and a lot of the celebrities, as we say, homes were being impacted in this fire. But then we have to really begin to think about how, as the everyday stars, that's what I call myself, an everyday star, have sometimes looked to the celebrities to esteem ourselves and see that this is the good life, or this is the life I want to live, or even how Hollywood is giving us these stories over and over through the movies, through the film industry, of what things are really like. It's like, okay, so what if that was all destroyed? What if you didn't have any of that to esteem yourself or to look to for what it is you think you should have, or what you should wear, or how you should show up in the world as it aligns to their lifestyles? Now is the time to go within and really begin to search for what it looks like for you on an individual level, but understanding that individual belief that you have is impacted by those around you. So really beginning to see what it is you're here for. Why am I here? Because so many people could have lost their lives, right? But very few lives were taken in this. There were some lost.
Yes.
But very few. So we have this opportunity to recreate our lives in a place of, okay, if I was to start from square one, what would my life look like? What would I truly want to be a part of my existence? And then our ancestors are saying, yeah, go back and get it. Go back and see what your root and your lineage and your what are they called? Generational patterns are looking like, and begin to release, begin to let go, begin to rebuild and reestablish, because those of us who are in the world at this time, who are coming into the awareness of God consciousness, we are the bridgers. We are the bridging of the gaps. And that bridge has to be fortified. And the only way that it can be fortified is by our collective God consciousness beginning to recreate. And I think it's really beautiful to see the symbolism in the earth, right? Things are always going through a death and rebirth, a death and rebirth, a death and rebirth. And in those spaces, we have a task at hand. We have a task to begin to really see if the life that we are living in the body is the life that we truly want to live. And is it aligning to the truth of who we are? Is it aligning to the truth of what we think the world can be? Is it aligning to our values? Is it aligning to harmony and balance and joy? Is it aligning to that? And if it's not, how is the creation of chaos and destruction being able to support this new way of life? So those are the things that I've kind of been really tapping into and seeing, and just really being an observer of what's going on around me, not allowing it to impact my being, but allowing me to become more aware and really ask those deeper questions as to what is this here to serve? What is the divine plan in this specific thing taking place? So that's where I've been going with it, and it's been really, really a revelation to see and to observe how people are showing up and stepping up and stepping up.
Absolutely. One of the things that you mentioned was our ancestors and the work they've done. Many of you know that I do practice hoodoo spiritual practice. And within that, this psalm, the psalm that I spoke of earlier, Psalms 104, was a psalm that was repeatedly used with practitioners to help keep the opposition at bay, or those who were the oppressor, for lack of a better word, was to help those oppressed overcome the oppressor. And when I look at these signs that we've gotten with these fires, you did mention that the celebrities' homes were affected. Palisades, the complete city, that was totally pretty much, there's only remnants left of it. Palisades is an area where there are a lot of celebrities that live there, of all demographic backgrounds, but that is an upper echelon area that was affected. In addition to that, the other flip side to that is Altadena is one of the first all Black cities in Los Angeles. It was one of the first cities where Black residents could purchase land when the Great Migration was happening, the late 1940s all the way through the 1960s, when more Black folk were moving from the down south area and coming into Los Angeles. And so within that area, those people, there are still a lot of people who own heirs property in that area. And these are properties that are now worth quite a bit of money. And so what I got in the symbolism of what's happened in these two cities is that we have to align ourselves with our God conscious. We have to align ourselves with our queendom, our kingdom, our royal inheritance.
And
now
lineage.
And our royal lineage. Our ancestors are calling for us to align ourselves with our inheritance, because it is there for us. This is going to be an opportunity for us to really grow all across the nation, to really grow and transform. And the way that we look at things, the way that we see opportunities or lack of opportunities, has been the form of slavery that has been used. The media has been a form of slavery for our people, because we have been looking at ourselves as a less than image, because that's what's been shown to us. We've started to see that has changed. We're everywhere now. But the mindset has not changed. The mindset had not changed. And so this is a call for, not only is this changing on our screens and how we view humanity, how we view people as a whole, but it should now be changing in our minds and our hearts, so that when we move forward, we can move forward with focusing on our dreams and not out of fear. We have been systematically as a people, and not to discount anyone, but we have been trained for survival mode. Now's the time of coming out of survival mode. This is the time for us all to thrive. And I know that it's scary in a time like this because there's so much uncertainty. But understand that circles like this exist for us to come in, chat, have open conversation and dialogue so that we can spread the knowledge, to just let you know some of the things that we know. We want to learn and hear from you all as well. I know we've had some viewers viewing in. I don't see any comments on my end. Sis, did you have any comments on your end?
No comments yet. So if you're on the line and you want to send a comment in the chat, please do so, because we're just diving in and just really looking at how symbolisms in the earth really impact not only the physical body, but the physical mind as well. And that mind is connected to all knowing, right? Because that is God consciousness. Our minds is connected to God consciousness. So when we can go into the deepest parts of our mind to begin to connect what we see in the picture of this world that we live in to the inner standing or inner knowing of what God is doing, we can really begin to create. And immediately I just got the vision of the tunnels, right? That we've heard of. So I've heard that there were tunnels, and I did a little bit of research about that valley and how it was water. It was all water. It was water all over there, all over that part of the valley that was destroyed. And it made me think about water being symbolic to our emotions, right? And how if you want to cut off the water, if you want to dig deep tunnels so the water will go deep, you're going to have to go deep too. You're going to have to go where that water is flowing to begin to understand and understand what it is you're supposed to know in this time. And when I think about emotions, everything is created through emotions and through feelings. Feelings get the answer, or feelings get the reward. So when you begin to feel something, you're going to see it manifest. When you get to there's a book called, I think, Feeling is the Secret. So what you feel, you create. And as we begin to not allow the waters of our feelings and our emotions to move us, we get into these stagnant, stuck areas that eventually will catch on fire.
I'm glad that you mentioned the water because that was one of the major, that's one of the reasons. We should mention that the fire has not been completely contained. It is still burning. The last time I looked at an update, it hasn't even reached 50% containment with the Palisades fire or any of the fires for that matter. I believe there's a small fire, the Hearst fire, that is almost extinguished. They did put out a fire that was near Hollywood. So there's been several smaller fires that have been able to be put out, but as it stands, the Palisade fires are still burning. With that being said, one of the major issues with this fire initially, when you talk about water, was the lack of water in our reservoirs, as well as the lack of water in our fire hydrants, and that the fire pressure was way too low, especially for simultaneous fire engines to be utilizing them. And so it was very hard to fight the fire because they couldn't fight it on the ground because of the low water pressure, and they couldn't go in the air because they couldn't see. The air wasn't clear. And so with thinking about that, right, our fire is our passion, right? Our passion is literally burning out of control right now as we see it. The water pressure is our emotion. So when your passion and your emotions aren't aligned, you don't have the emotion, that's undirected energy that is going around. And we are, and I can say this as a Los Angeles native, I've lived here my entire life. We are very sensitized and very cut off from a lot of the emotions of just trying to survive and make rent. You know what I'm saying? It does sensitize you in a way. And so not allowing that emotion to flow has put us financially in a stagnated place. We're seeing that play out in the and the elements that are surrounding us. We're literally surrounded by the ocean. How do we not have enough water? Especially when the last 2 years we had record breaking rain. So we had record breaking rain. There was no collection of water. This year we've been in a drought. This is because we have really desensitized ourselves as a community as a whole. And so when you bring up what does water mean, the emotions and allowing that energy to flow, when you have the energy, right, that fire, we have the energy, but the emotions are cut off, that can become chaotic very quickly. And that's what we are experiencing um, with this.
I-
Also, oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I was thinking, and then the intentionality, right? The intentionality, you mentioned you're surrounded by water, but you didn't have enough, right? So it's like, are we utilizing the resources that we have?
That's
And this
right.
is where, we all, I immediately thought about, those of us who are Christians and we call on God all the time for different things, especially when things are going bad. But are we utilizing that resource of knowing that God is in us and able to help us in all situations, good and bad? And are we utilizing the emotion of gratitude
That's
and
right.
being able to build on what I am thankful for, and how everything is divinely being aligned through that positive intention of, hey, I'm going to use my passion to survive, even if it's that, but I'm also going to be intentional about utilizing the emotions that support my survival in the highest vibration, because that's where you begin to build, so that when the waters are the fire is flaming and you still have that emotion of it's just as powerful, you begin to find that balance and that place of, okay, even though this is going on, I still know that this is also going on, and being able to equally utilize both for your survival. I mean, and that is what we all should be really kind of honing in on as we find ourselves as a soul in the body, because that's how we learn to balance. Things are going to happen all the time, and they do. But is our emotional capacity of knowing that all is well just as strong to keep those fires in control? Because we do need the fire, we do need the passion. We know that wildfires, they go and burn acres of land to fertilize the land
Mhm.
in different places around the world. So fire is necessary, but also the emotion behind it, to know the intention of the fire. And I may be going left field with this, but this is what's coming through of just how we function, because people are losing their everlasting minds right now,
Yes.
literally, because they have not the connection with the consciousness of God, or the consciousness of knowing God in them, to be able to maneuver and to integrate into this new reality.
You're right. There, prior to this event, we have been seeing record-breaking mental health issues, the homelessness in my city, and I'm sure across the U.S. is like at an all-time high. It's absolutely outrageous, and mostly due to the mental health. And so when we have something like this, there's many of the children and most all Americans, I know for a fact, are really people all over the world have the post traumatic stress from COVID. Then we've been having like kind of one major thing after another. When we think of COVID happening, then we think of them storming the White House, right? These are things that would make anyone be fearful and go crazy. And then we have the media that regurgitates this information all day long. So even if you wanted to try to make peace with it, it's still being thrown at you. And so um, when you are not able to go within and cut off the outside influences, you become overwhelmed and highly sensitized. And I think that that's what we are facing with as a people, as a planet. You know, people are becoming very sensitized to the information and the things that we are seeing. And as the ancient intelligence starts to come back and arises, that, you know, there's fear mongering around that. There and the uncertainties of everything in everyday life, there's uncertainty around that. How do you find a way to find solace and peace? Is to really go within and start there. Because if you can't find peace within, it will be hard to live in this current reality, and even much harder to live in the reality that we're heading to.
And that's where it goes back to that saying that's really been going around real um, tough in the spiritual community is nobody's really coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. So if you're looking outside of yourself for someone to come and make it all right, or even worse, if you're waiting till you die to get to the heaven by and by, this is going to be a very difficult life to live. And this is where the mental health challenges come in. So begin what we want to encourage and inspire each and every one of you to know is that you are the answer. You have the power, you have the authority, you have the the position to begin to create your life the way you wish. And it's not only a wish, it's divinely ordered that we become in alignment with natural law. Natural law regulates and governs everything, and that is our God consciousness. If you are not familiar with all is mind, it's a concept from the Hermetic principles. That may be a place to start. And understanding natural law. There are 7 main things, that regulate and orchestrate the world that we live in. And even as human beings being in this world, we have the power to begin to create a new world, to begin to touch the lives of those around us in really, really powerful ways, and really begin to see things a little different than what the news is putting out.
Absolutely. And this is a time for, most of all, and most importantly, this is a time for strengthening your community, and really reaching out to those around us. I know, because I was one of these people. There are many of us out there that's like, I just do everything on my own. I've been having to do it on my own my whole life. We are a people of community, and um, reach out if you're having any type of mental health issues or any type of mental health stressors, or you need help navigating. Myself, Chantel, we are both experienced in helping you navigate through that. And if you need other resources, we could definitely direct you to that as well. But this is the time to, go within, but also surround yourself with that powerful force of a team, of a community, of a tribe, of a sisterhood, of a brotherhood, that will help you navigate through this space. And I think that one of the things that we're learning, and one of the best things that I've seen come out of this, is the community rallying together to help those in need, to help those that are facing, loss, devastation, any type of thing during this crisis. And this is something that we need to understand, that we are all interconnected one way or another. So even if you aren't directly impacted by the fire itself, you are indirectly affected, based on how it's impacted your TV screen. You know what I'm saying? Right. We are all interconnected. And so when we think about things that way, we don't separate ourselves from anything that's happening. We know that it is, some divine messages in regards to that. And I wanted to just share that, today we spoke a lot about events that, are still affecting many of you that are probably watching this, many of you out there. And we say all of what we say with peace and love. This is not to take away from anything anyone may be feeling. These are tools and techniques that we've used ourselves to process the natural phenomenon that is happening in this world. That won't stop. There will be more natural phenomena that will happen. There will be more things that will happen that will be trying to draw and redirect our attention. The media was set up specifically for that intention, to manifest the world of someone else's dreams. And I believe more than anything else, this fire is to teach us that we need to start manifesting our own dreams. We need to start creating our reality ourselves. We need to take on the rightful responsibility to our lineage, our heritage, and our lives, really. And so I'm excited to see, what's to come. I'm manifesting, on this end. So look, stay tuned.
Look, and that's a great space to be in, because the world, like you said, and the media is to keep us in this very low, I need some help, I need support, oh, I'm not going to survive, things are just continuing to get worse and worse and worse. And the more people who tune into that and begin to regurgitate that same energy, that's going to be more of the same energy we're going to experience, or they are going to experience, because you can shift out of that. You can come out into a new community, a new place of light, and a newness. As we talked before, there's always that cycle of death and rebirth. And as we die, we get an opportunity to create something else. And this death and rebirth doesn't always say that it has to be a physical death. It can be dying to old paradigms, dying to old belief systems, dying to old programs that no longer resonate as truth to you. And it's okay to make those decisions. I know we get in our families and our church homes and our connections and networks, and we may be the only one that thinks a little different, right? But that is your space to shine. That is your space to speak life and light into those areas. I hear the scripture, many are called, few are chosen. And then with that, even fewer choose. You may have that knowing within you, and you may truly be at peace in your situation, but you also may be afraid to speak out. So this is where I've really, really grown in that space of knowing that sometimes you are called to be different. Sometimes you are called to think different. Sometimes you may be giving divine insight and wisdom that needs to be heard, but you see that you're the only one, or you feel like you're the only one. But understand that God consciousness is everywhere. It is everywhere. And only light attracts darkness, but it also can attract light, and it overshadows the darkness. So when you begin to stay in that space of being bright, being the light, it's purposeful. Even if you may fear that, oh, I'm going to stand out. Oh, what are they going to think of me? Oh, it might not align or be accepted. That's okay, because those who are ready to hear will hear. And those that have eyes to see, ears to hear, and the wisdom to know the difference, those are the ones that we are really, really asking to show up. Show up for yourself first, but that showing up for yourself is impacting the community around you. Just as the fire continued to rave and go out, I think of a petal being thrown into a body of water. That vibration also does go out. So that's where we're at with this. I mean, it's our first for the season, or for this January month. But it's been a lot. It's been a lot of shifts going on.
It has been, and we have some comments. I'm not sure why our Facebook's comments aren't posting on my
Okay.
my feed here, but Maisha directed me because we had some comments. So we had some hey ladies from Maisha, greetings family from Kasadi. And Maisha said, I feel like we've been programmed to take situations like this for face value and to fear the unknown. Most on the thought that there's more to what we've experienced. It's not just arson as many people think. Exactly, Maisha. A lot of what's going on is a lot of people are like, this is different. It's it's definitely arson, and and I think that that's easier for someone to swallow than to think that it was just a divine act of nature or divinely orchestrated, as I like to say. When I say the divine orchestration, I mean that there's several elements that all work together in hand for this fire to take place. Um, Albeit not intentional, it was divinely orchestrated. But yeah, it is easier to think that just some crazy deranged person lit a match and set some stuff on fire rather than to think that this was an act of God, because then you have to self-check. Oh, if this was the divine action, what's going on? What is this trying to communicate? And a lot of people don't want to take that responsibility. So I completely agree with you, Maisha. She also says we're saying they're saying there's water, but because so many areas of the city was pulling from the same source. So, okay, that's right. While the aircrafts, the winds, and smokes made it difficult for them to see the fire retardant. Exactly. So, one of the things, like I was saying, was the water pressure, because everybody was on the ground trying to pull from the same source. The water wasn't coming out. And that just took that a little bit deeper with what you were saying, because if we're all pulling from the same source, how much could we get? We are the internal source. So if we're all, let's throw, we talking about spirituality here and the symbolism. If we are all pulling from the same source, we trying to get this same source of energy, there's only so much energy to go around.
But if you see it as a one energy, then it's not separated, then that is a very powerful source. Thinking of it that way. So if everybody it kind of still works in the same fashion of what you believe, the more people who believe it, that's what it's going to be.
That's what it's going to be.
Because that's the same consciousness, everybody pulling from the same energy. But even thinking about the fire, everybody was pulling from the well of emotions, but they're all aiming at different directions, right? So therefore, the power is not unified. It's an abundance of it. But if I'm shooting over here, you shooting over there, I'm shooting over here, we're really not going to do as much as if we were all shooting in the same direction, right?
Ashe. Ooh, wait. Come through, spirit.
Look. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
This has really helped us. I would say we took the last few weeks off. Honestly, I feel like in preparation, because I feel like we both have been feeling a lot of shifts coming. We talk about this daily. Every time we're on the phone, we're feeling so many shifts. There's so much things happening, and we really wanted to really figure out how we can best serve within this podcast. And we understand that many of our community are still figuring symbolism and what takes place, not just in nature, but in the reality we face. And there are a lot of things in the media that tend to grab our attention. And so since it's grabbing our attention, what is it saying? And so we plan to bring more topics, more world news, more topics like this that are affecting us as a whole. to the forefront and talk about it from the spiritual angle, so that we know that nothing is apart from our spiritual compass, right? Everything is here to serve us. And so if we consider ourselves spiritual, religious beings, then there's things in those teachings and those writings that help us to understand what is going on in the now and how we can navigate through that. Our main focus for this podcast is to empower the men and women of our community to no longer look outside of themselves for the answers and directions, to lean within your own infinite understandings, your divine senses, right? To understand that they are teaching and telling you something each and every day. And once we learn how to utilize those senses, we can feel more empowered and not imprisoned by the fear that our mental thoughts can sometimes take us.
And, when you were speaking on that, something just came to mind too, about pictures and symbols. The original way that people communicated were not in letters, but was in pictures and symbols, right? I think it's either the Hebrew or I don't remember. Don't let me make it up. But I know the Egyptians, we have the glyphs, right? Mm-hmm. So we have those ways of communicating through pictures and signs. So as we begin to really connect back to our ancient lineage and seeing how real truth was communicated, not only in words, but in pictures and symbols. This is why it's so important to begin to look at the world that we live in that way. Not always believing what you hear, but looking at how that symbolically impacts the truth of what divine consciousness is revealing. And, it's as simple as sitting in your room or doing a prayer and asking, Most High, God, Creator, what is this really here to show us? What is this here to teach me? And how can I navigate these other feelings with the truth of what is? And you will begin to get the answers. You will begin to be able to find the peace that surpasses all understanding, or as you begin to go within, because our outer world is a reflection of so much. And all of this is purposeful. But what purpose does it serve? There's this song that says, grow, glow, and flow. So for this season, I don't know, I really want to play that song, but
I do want you to play.
we don't want to risk getting silent.
Muted.
So there's a song. It's really a powerful song talking about 2025 and talking about the mode that we need to be in. If it's not growing you, if it's not allowing you to flow, if it's not allowing you to glow, then you release that, because the mode right now is to grow, to flow, and to glow. And the glow up is real, y'all. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys feel that, you're being called to start businesses. You're being called to do a different job that you've never done before. You're being called to maybe even leave a relationship that you've been in forever, or you're being called to solidify a relationship that you've been in and really make it a marriage or a lifetime commitment. It's like, this is the time to begin to make those changes, letting go of anything that doesn't allow you to be the king or the queen, the god, the goddess of your own experience, because that's a real thing. I know as a Christian growing up, it was like, you should have no God above whoever. There should be no other God above you.
No other God before thee.
Thee. And thee is me. Thee is me.
Thee is me.
I'm like, we are looking at allowing so many other people and practices to impact us. But it's like, no, get back to your heart. Get back to the heart of the matter, because the scripture does also say in the last days, he's going to write his, hers, theirs, ours words upon our heart. So that's where you need to go. That's where the answers lie. And then get in that heart space to realign the mind space, to the mind of Christ. It says that in scripture as well. Although we're not trying to be very scriptural, but these spirits, these ancient spirits, are very angelic and very much in tune with the beginning of time. So even though the Bible may or may not resonate with all, there's words and there's pictures and there's symbols and there's a confirmation of how this world is really truly being rebuilt and reestablished. And we want to encourage you to begin to reestablish your individual space by connecting with those around you who also serve this same higher vibration agenda of recreating, taking back our power, coming into communion with those that support the ideas and beliefs that we also embody, so that it will be powerful, so that that passion to thrive and not to just survive will be ignited in a way that really, really, really will not only affect your inner world, but also your outer world. And there can be calamity, chaos, and strife going on all around you, but it will not touch you. It will not touch your family. It will not touch the things you're building. It will not touch the things that you see being manifested for you. And you can be unapologetically open to having your vibration high and receiving all the good that is in store. And we don't have to follow the agenda that doesn't flow with the mindset and the things that we want to experience. We have a right to choose other. And that's what I will share. And that's how I will kind of bring it all together. But I know also we have a wonderful event coming up in March.
Yes.
That we would love to invite you all to come out, support, get some more of this high vibrational conversation, be activated in a way that you can really truly begin to become the kings and queens of your reality. March 28th through the 30th. It will be a high vibes activation retreat. We have details for you. We would love for you to join us. We would love for you to invite your families, friends, your sisters in your inner circle who you want to really go to the next level with you. Bring them into the space, bring them into the awareness and the activation of truly who you are, because every person is needed and necessary at your highest vibration. So this is where we are, the Soul Sisters, speaking out and fixing crowns in the process. This is a heart and mind coherence. This is bringing it all into our inner courts so that we can also see it manifest in our world around us. So, sis.
Hey, well, look, you didn't summed it all up really, really greatly, but I do want to add, for those of you who are still interested in the retreat, it is not too late. We do understand that there are things that are going on, so we're giving a little bit more time for those of you who are interested. If you have any comments, questions, or concern, please reach out to us directly on whatever platform you are following us on. You can also go to goodvibesloungellc.com for more information, not only about the current retreat that we're hosting, but some information about some retreats that are coming soon. We also want to say that the High Vibes retreat is co-ed. It is available to both male and female, men and women are able to come to this retreat. This retreat will be a powerful, powerful 3 days of understanding your own vibration. So this is one of those beating to your own drums, finding harmony in the vibration that you carry and you hold, and being able to strengthen your own inner vibration. So
and tap into your passion and find that, why am I really here? Because we are change makers. We are the change we seek to be. Be the change you seek to experience. And it starts with you. So we have some great tools. We have some fun. We have some fellowship. We have some food. We have just showing up as your genuine self.
This isn't one of those sad healing retreats. So I want to say that right up front. Some people are maybe apprehensive because they're like, oh, I don't want to be crying and processing things all day. There are some tears that are going to shed, and most of them will be happy tears because you didn't think a circle like this existed, right? That's one of the most common things we hear when we get together and we do our retreats. We didn't know that like women could really be like this and support each other and feel this good, and we could create a space. We really create an inviting space for not only for you to open up and process, but heal in the midst of. It's not one of those things that you're going to go back and be like, I had a vacation and now I'm emotionally drained. No, you're going to be gassed and ready to go. You are going to be fired up and ready to hit the ground running on your passions, your purpose, and your desires. So really
time to grow, flow, and glow.
Okay.
Look, this song, y'all, is my new anthem for 2025. If you want to look her up, her name is Oracle.
I did drop her in the comments.
Oh, okay. Yes. Check it out.
I dropped it the YouTube link so you all can go listen to it. I don't want to just chance it. We at the end of the video, so if they bleep it now, it won't be too much.
Well, do you want to do it with the video? With the video of the retreat?
Oh, nice. Good thinking. Okay, let's hold on. Let's see here. Oh, but that video have a
little bit of sound with it, doesn't it?
Sound with it, yeah.
Okay.
Let's do the video of the retreat, and then I'll share the video of the song as we go out. So even if it muted, the words are on there.
Ashe. So yeah, this podcast today was all about letting the fire burn, connecting with your ancestors, connecting with the angels, connecting with your highest self, connecting with God consciousness. Those are resources and tools that are free, that are available. And all it takes is an intention. Remember how we spoke about where attention goes, where attention goes, energy flows. So wherever you're sending your attention, that's what you're going to be experiencing. So be mindful of that. Circle around yourself, circle yourself with people who are high vibration, who are truly seeking to live a life that's worth the mess, but really know how to transform it. So until next time.
All right. We're going to show you a little bit of the retreat vibes, and then we'll close out with our Grow, Glow, and Flow song for 2025.
Yes. I get so excited every time I see that. I'm so encouraged. This is going to be great.
I have to go to share screen. Can you see the screen, Chantel? This is my first time using the share screen feature.
Yep.
All right, there we go.
You want to make it big in the corner? If it don't help me go, I don't see it.
don't help me flow, let it go. 2025, baby, it's all about the know. I've been working, I've been building.
Sorry.
Uh-oh.
That was big. I think this is as big as it goes. Sorry.
If it don't help me grow, I don't need it. If it don't help me glow, I don't see it. If it don't help me flow, let it go. 2025, baby, it's all about the know. I've been working, I've been building on my peace, clearing out the noise, yeah, my glow's unleashed. Every step intentional, every move divine. If it don't align, then it's wasting my time. I'm in my lane, no room for distractions. Only keeping what adds to my satisfaction. I'm focused, I'm thriving, I'm on a new wave. 2025 is the vibe I crave. Does it help me grow? Does it help me shine? Does it keep my energy moving in line? If it don't, then it's a no from me. I'm protecting my glow and my peace, you see.
Hey.
Flow, that's the vibe. If it don't match that, it don't get my time. Grow, flow, baby, that's the code. 2025, yeah, I'm sticking to my mode. Roll on flow, that's the vibe. If it don't match that, it don't get my time. Grow, flow, baby, that's the code. 2025, yeah, I'm sticking to my mode. Cutting off the drama, yeah, I'm moving light. If it doesn't lift me, then it's out of sight. I've got big plans, I'm chasing the dream. If it don't help the hustle, then it's off the team. I'm radiating, yeah, I'm shining from within. My circle's getting smaller, but the love is genuine. No room for the fake, I'm letting it go. Grow, glow, flow, yeah, that's all I know. Does it help me grow? Does it help me shine? Does it keep my energy moving in line? If it don't, then it's a no from me. I'm protecting my glow and my peace, you see. Grow, flow, that's the vibe. If it don't match that, it don't get my time. Grow, flow, baby, that's the code. 2025, yeah, I'm sticking to my mode. If it don't help me grow, that's the vibe. If it don't match that, it don't get my time. Grow, flow, baby, that's the code. 2025, yeah, I'm sticking to my mode. No distractions, no delays. Focused on the path, I'm paving new ways. Anything that don't lift me higher is gone. If it don't help me grow, I'm moving on. If it don't help me grow, I don't need it. If it don't help me glow, I don't see it. If it don't help me flow, let it go. 2025, baby, it's all about the know. If it don't help me grow, I don't need it. If it don't help me glow, I don't see it. If it don't help me flow, let it go. 2025, baby, it's all about the know.
We do not own any of the rights to this music.
Ashe. Shout out to the young woman who is singing this song. She sounds divine. This is Oracle Vibes, and there is a whole channel on YouTube, I'm sure, of additional music. So go check her out. Or Oracle, spelled like aura, AURACLE Vibes. So shout out to Oracle for this beautiful inspiration. Let me stop.
But the new 2025 anthem, come through, take up spaces, and we love the song. We love the song. I love the song.
Look, I'm like, that's the theme right there. Like everything she's saying, like if it is not in alignment, it ain't helping her glow, then it got to go, you know.
And I don't need it, right?
And this is a time we are moving into a space, you know, when we look at everything, we are moving into a space of letting go of what's no longer serving us so that we can align with 2025. Align in 2025, okay?
It's time to emancipate our mind and begin to thrive.
Gosh.
Let me ring the bell on that one.
We are the Circle of Sisters podcast. Is Lady Unk. This is my sister, Chantel C. Erta-Shakem. And we are Soul Sisters speaking out and fixing crowns in the process. See you next time. Peace.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace.
Yeah.